Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. As we get into Acts chapter 28, we find this chapter, particularly the beginning of the chapter, to be very refreshing. After a very difficult chapter 27, where the Apostle Paul and all the people that are on the boat that are sailing, making their way to Rome, after they suffer this severe storm and then also become shipwrecked, you get to chapter 28 and they arrive at this place called Malta, or the name of the island could also be rendered as Melita. But the name of the island, Malta, means honey. The name actually means honey, which I think is pretty significant because in scriptures we see that honey kind of symbolizes that which refreshes. We could think about Jonathan back when he was chasing the Philistines and he tasted a little bit of honey and it brightened his eyes and refreshed him for the chase after the Philistines, even though it was forbidden by his father Saul. And here we find Malta, this island of Malta, to be just that, a place of refreshment. Here, these sailors and these prisoners arrive at this island, storm-tossed and shipwrecked, and they meet them very warmly. It says literally warmly because in verse 2 it says, "The natives showed us extraordinary kindness, for because of the rain that had set in and because of the cold, they kindled a fire and received us all." And so a very warm welcome, literally, because they have a fire there to give them a little bit of refuge from the cold and from the rain. And they just treated them in a very hospitable way. And that carries through the this whole story of this time spent at Malta. It's just a refreshing time, and they were there for several months, and they were able to, be refreshed, be renewed, be strengthened again for the rest of the journey. And this would have been a great comfort to Paul and for everyone who had been aboard that ship. And as we think about this island of Malta, we could think about the church, because it ought to be that the church itself is like the island of Malta, that the church should also be a place of refreshment. When we come together as believers, we ought to have a warm welcome and receive one another in a very hospitable way, and in a way that will bring refreshment and renewal. To where people who throughout the week had been perhaps storm-tossed and shipwrecked because of the difficulties and the hardships of this life, maybe the temptations that have come after them, or the different challenges in relationships or challenges at work, whatever the case may be, that, when we come to church, as we come together as a body of believers, that we just find refreshment. We find the church like sweet like honey, that brightens our eyes, refreshes us, renews us, and prepares us for yet another week, perhaps, of sailing the troubled seas. And when we think about it in that context, we could each think about this individually and say, what can I do? What can I contribute to the rest of the church that will bring refreshment to others? What type of encouraging words can I bring to church services when I'm there that will help other people? What kind of help can I render to other people, whether physically, spiritually, or mental help that I can provide? What is it that I can do to help refresh storm-tossed, shipwrecked sailors that come to church for refuge, that come for renewal and restoration? And so maybe we could even begin preparing that even today. Begin to be thinking about things that we can do that would help refresh other people. And then also be encouraged ourselves to look forward to attending church services where we can get out of a troubled world for a few hours and find refreshment and renewal, and be once again encouraged to go back at it again the next week, and just continue this cycle of refreshment, renewal, going out and battling the difficulties and hardships of life, but then coming back together and strengthening one another, and then going out again. This is how we are able to sustain and persevere through the troubles and trials of life. And so let's value the church in this way. Let's value the church and see it as an island of Malta, as sweet honey that we can come to and be refreshed and be renewed, and participate in and do whatever we can to do our part to bring refreshment to others. And hopefully the whole church will be benefited, and the kingdom itself will also be benefited as well. So these are some things we can reflect on and think about as we do our reading today. For that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.